Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unlocking what is, without a doubt, the single greatest wealth-building mechanism on the planet. We're talking about compound interest. We're going to dive deep into how its mechanics work and why it is literally the ultimate key to building lasting, exponential wealth. Let's get right into it.
You know, when Albert Einstein, arguably the greatest analytical mind in human history, calls a simple math concept the eighth wonder of the world, you absolutely have to pay attention. He famously said that he who understands compound interest earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. Wow, just let that sink in for a second.
Section 1. The Eighth Wonder. So let's unpack exactly how this famously misunderstood concept builds that exponential wealth. The crazy thing is, the reason most of us completely underestimate its power has nothing to do with intelligence. It's actually a cognitive bias. Our brains are just hardwired to think linearly, not exponentially. We expect progress to be this nice straight line, right? One step forward equals one exact unit of progress. But compound interest? It totally ignores linear rules, and that creates a massive blind spot for us when visualizing long-term wealth.
Moving to Section 2, Simple versus Compound Interest. To really grasp this, we first need to establish the critical difference between these two.
The contrast here is night and day. Simple interest is pretty straightforward. It just pays returns on your original principal investment, and that's it. But compound interest, oh, this is where the magic happens. It pays returns on your original investment plus all the accumulated interest from previous years. It's quite literally your interest earning its own interest. That compounding snowball effect is the true engine of wealth.
Section 3. Alex versus Ben. Let's look at a really fascinating real-world scenario to see how this plays out when we compare two totally different investing timelines. So, meet our two investors. Alex starts early at age 20, but gets this, he stops completely at age 30. He literally never adds another dime after his 30th birthday. Ben, on the other hand, waits until he's 30 to start investing, but then he consistently puts money in year after year, all the way to age 60. To keep things perfectly fair, both Alex and Ben are investing the exact same amount out of pocket. We're talking just $200 a month. Nothing crazy, right? That's roughly the cost of a car payment or a couple of nice dinners out, consistently set aside. And they're both putting that capital into the exact same vehicle, a broad market index fund. For this scenario, they're getting an identical average annual return of 8%, so the playing field is entirely level. The absolute only difference between these two guys is when they started and how long they actively contributed.
All right, so looking at these strict parameters, I want you to really think about this for a second. Who actually ends up with a larger portfolio at age 60? Is it Alex, who only put money in for a single decade? Or is it Ben, who tirelessly invested for 30 straight years?
The answer is almost unbelievable. Alex wins, and he wins by a lot. Even though Ben invested for 30 straight years and contributed $60,000 more out of his own pocket, Alex's portfolio comes out on top. Because Alex started 10 years earlier, his money just had vastly more time to compound exponentially. By age 60, Alex has more wealth simply because of the sheer, unstoppable power of time. How wild is that?
Section 4. 3 Variables of Wealth. To figure out how Alex achieved this seemingly impossible victory, we need to deconstruct the actual mechanics here. So there are 3 distinct variables at play when you're building wealth. First, there's the money you invest out of your own pocket. Second, the rate of return you get on that money. And third, the time you leave it invested. These are basically your 3 main levers.
Now, obviously, you can't always control market returns, but there is a hugely empowering takeaway from this explainer. You have complete control over time. The math definitively shows that the earlier you start, the less money you actually need to invest out of pocket to reach financial independence. Time is doing all the heavy lifting for you.
Section 5. The Exponential Curve. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we really need to set some proper expectations about how this journey actually feels in reality.
Look, exponential wealth is not an overnight thing. Compound interest doesn't just hand you life-changing results in year 1 or 2. In the beginning, the growth is going to feel painfully slow. And because our brains love linear thinking, we get incredibly frustrated when we don't see massive leaps right away. That slow start, the flat part of the curve, that's exactly where most people give up.
But if you just stay consistent and let those dividends reinvest, that exponential curve eventually kicks in. And when it kicks in, it is powerful. all of a sudden, your annual investment gains can literally eclipse your entire yearly salary. Your money eventually starts working vastly harder than you do.
Based on the irrefutable math we've looked at today, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. If time is truly the ultimate variable of exponential wealth, what's holding you back from starting your curve today? Knowing what you now know about Alex and Ben, how much is waiting going to cost you?